What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome to Marriage Unmastered. It's me, your boy Hen, and I'm here with the lovely, the sexy, the one and only Shireal.
Hey, what's up, everybody?
We are glad to be back to you all again on a beautiful Monday, and we here with some great news. As Shireal looks at me like I'm crazy.
I have no idea what
We
you're talking
here,
about.
we here for the next episode,
Oh, okay.
year 6.
Year
Y'all,
6.
if you're just tuning in, we are going over like the last 10 years of our marriage. This will be 10 years this October. So we give you like a nice little recap, a little summary of every year or every year and a half. However, but it gets crazy and it's good, and we hope you are blessed by this uh us figuring it out in marriage, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so year 6. So we ended off with what? Starting a podcast, living with family,
hmm
getting pregnant, losing 2 children.
We didn't get to the second one yet, but
Oh, I'm sorry.
that's okay. But last episode we didn't. We only went through the first miscarriage.
Yeah.
So when we finally moved into our new space, it was supposed to be another temporary situation. I think our plan was only to stay there for 1 year.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up getting a two-bedroom, back to a two-bedroom, guys. But this time it wasn't like a small apartment, it was like a townhome. But we were like, you know what, the kids just gonna have to share a room until we buy this house. Cause here we are again trying to buy a house. Um, so so that was the whole plan when we moved into this new spot.
Yeah. Now, mind you, with the new spot, it was bigger, but it was still like small.
Mm-hmm.
We were thankful because we were just out of the space where we were. So 2 bedroom, both bedrooms, and the full bath was upstairs. It had a downstairs and it had a basement. So, we try to do what we can and make it nice and cozy for the kids. Made them like a little playroom area, established an office area for the wife, and a little, man cave for me as well. It was spacious. I'm thankful.
But tell them about the first day when we moved into the house.
What happened? I don't remember.
What was in the basement?
A snake?
A snake.
Oh yeah. That was
A
crazy.
snake was in the basement. I felt like I was like, the Lord must be telling us not to live here. No, I was not. I was dead serious. I was like,
Yeah.
this is outrageous.
Shrell was really livid. I mean, I was like, let me just try to kill it the best I can.
But I mean, it was a garden snake. Let me also be clear about that because I know people, my meters just went up. Like, what kind of snake was it? But either way, it was a snake in the house.
Yeah, that was
And I
crazy.
just was like, I feel like not even bringing my stuff in here.
So we chopped off the head of the snake,
I
got it out
didn't
here.
do anything. I ran upstairs.
Well, we did it together. Like, we're one, so if I did it, you did it. And then we started looking all in the basement, like for any other
And do you
dead
know,
skin.
dead snake skin would like appear in that apartment the whole time we were there?
Yeah.
It was like, it probably was a family of snakes in the wall somewhere. Like, I
Mm-hmm.
just thank the Lord that I never saw another one, but the skin would appear out of nowhere. I can't believe we even telling this story. It's traumatic,
Well,
and I'm just being traumatized all over again.
don't be traumatized. They're fine. Um, we got him out of there. We didn't see any snakes after that, thank God.
Not the actual snakes, but I saw snake skin multiple times throughout the time that we were living there.
That's yeah, we did.
And then
But
Henry would always be like, "No, that's old. Any snake skin is old. They shed it."
yeah. So it was crazy.
Yeah, I remember. And then Henry was working nights at the time. One night I could not sleep. That house was just scary to me because, first of all, the fact that when we moved in, there was a snake there. That was, I just, one night I could not sleep. I walked around that whole house and I put my hand on every wall and prayed Jesus down. I was like, there is no way. I was like, Holy Spirit, come in this house because this house is scared. I was always scared in
Yeah.
that house by
But
myself.
granted, it was a decent place to live. Had a garage too, so we it was
It
comfortable
was
for us.
trash.
It was trash now, but it was we were thankful to be able
Thankful-ish.
to move. Okay, Sherelle,
Yo, I was
do not down
terrified.
the experience. Like,
Man, I'm being honest.
honest or not,
I was
like don't
terrified.
down it. We had good memories in there. It was a good spot
Well,
for
anyways,
the time.
literally, when we moved in there in October. I found out I was pregnant again.
Mm-hmm.
And this time we didn't tell anybody really. I don't think we told anybody.
We didn't.
Who, we may have told,
Maybe the direct, like maybe like your mom,
I don't even know if I told her.
or like no, you might have told
We,
like a close
at
friend.
first, we didn't tell anybody. Like, we might have waited a little while. So I think I was pregnant for almost 3 months this time.
Yeah.
And then I ended up, so we moved in October. I found out I was pregnant. I miscarried right before Christmas. And this miscarriage was way worse.
Hmm.
It was way worse than the first one. It was just bad. I'm not going to go into details. I think we actually have an episode where I went into details, but it was
Yeah. Cause like I want to say shortly after we went on like a little weekend getaway
that was at
to
the end of
Vermont.
January,
Yeah.
and that's when we did the podcast uh about the miscarriages.
Mm-hmm. And also we just needed to get away. We were going through so much, and taking that time, it helped us go through a little bit of healing, and just like self reflection and just us time,
Yeah.
that we needed. And so for one, I'm not a travel agent, but I will definitely encourage you, if you're married couples, to go away, spend some time with your spouse, learn each other all over again, fall in love all over again.
Heal.
Yeah.
I feel like when you're married, like life doesn't stop. I mean, like, it's very important, especially to those of you out here who are listening, whose desire is to be married. Like, you haven't been married before, it's something you really want. Like, don't romanticize it so much. Like, it's great, but it takes like so much work.
Now,
And
I'm sorry, I mean, cut you off. I was gonna say, explain a little bit about the don't romanticize it so
like,
much.
don't think it's just this fairy tale thing that's like happy all the time and roses all the time. Like, you're still living life, you know?
Mm.
So life is still going to happen. The difference is now you're living life with somebody else. So you got to think about it like the way that you deal with things is not necessarily the way your spouse is going to deal with things. The way they interpret things is not the way you will interpret things. Like, so now that you're going through this life with someone, like, it's not always gonna be a bed of roses.
Mm. It won't.
And it's
Like,
not.
what's that saying you always say to me about like that's your fault because you put not me, but like you when you deal with people, you be like that's my fault. I put expectations on
Oh,
you that I shouldn't have.
yeah. Like, so I learned the hard way that, and what Henry is saying is, I always say, don't place unfair expectations on others.
Mm.
Like, just because I will do something a way or I react a way to something, that doesn't mean that's how somebody else is going to behave.
Yeah.
And when you expect people to behave or act the way that you do, you will be disappointed.
Mm.
And so, like, it's the same way in your marriage.
Ah, that's a good point.
And I'm saying all that to say, like, if you've been listening, these last couple years, we've been going through some things, and so there was a lot of healing that had to take place. And I think that's the good thing that came out of that particular space we were in at the time with the snake. That uptown house, it gave us a place to heal.
Mm. So I like the way you segue that it gave us a place to heal. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like I feel that every couple needs a space, a like designated space for healing in their marriage, right? And if it's their home, okay, cool. But maybe like a specific area within their home or in that quiet time they spend with each other. Like it got to be a certain time and space for y'all to kind of like be like, okay, this is what we needed. Like you ever had like remember we had those good conversations, babe, and we'll feel like we on the same wavelength. We just talking and talking, and they'll be like, man, I really enjoyed you. Like I appreciate you.
Mhm.
And I think from those small moments that we've had and we shared is like some type of healing we go through, and I don't know, but we just it's like we reach another level in our marriage in instances like that. If I'm making any sense.
Yeah. I
But I'm saying if you get me.
yeah, I get you. And but I'm just saying this particular time was a time of healing. Like this wasn't a place that we were supposed to necessarily grow, or like it was a place to heal. And it was still COVID, so we were also still pretty much on lockdown. It
Mm-hmm.
wasn't a whole bunch of things happening. So we got a lot of time to just be in the house and self-reflect and get to know each other and mourn our babies, and
Yeah.
also watch our other babies grow. So at when we moved into that townhouse, I believe Harley and Jay were like 3 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
They were like 3 and 4, or turning 3 and 4. Like Jay had just started. It was his first year of pre-K. So I believe he was 3 or 4. I can't. How old were you when you started pre-K? 3?
He had to been 4 because
No, 4. You're in pre-K for 2 years. I think it was 3, 3, 4. Then he turned 5 in kindergarten.
yeah.
So they were, anyways, they were really young, and so they really also didn't ever have a space of their own. Like, like when we moved out of our first apartment, they were so little they didn't even remember having a room to
Mm-hmm.
themselves. And then when we lived with Henry's sister, we were all in one room together. So like all their toys were like in storage. Like they had like a couple toys that they played with in the house, but they didn't have a space for just them. And I think we kind of that's how they really got spoiled. Like when we got to our new apartment and they had their own room, it was like, okay, now we about to just spoil them. Like we wanted them to have like a space where they could play, and literally we went ham. Like
Yeah.
we put like a playroom together in the basement. I mean, these kids had kitchen sets and truck sets and Hot Wheels and bookcases
Bookshelves.
and
Oh yeah.
TVs, and like they had a play area, and then in their room they had another kitchen set and bookshelves and every
Closets.
toy.
They
And
had
I
mad
mean
stuff.
they had, like, we literally, it was almost like we was trying to make up for the fact that they didn't have it like for a couple years, which is kind of silly because they were babies, right? But it was nice to give them like a space of their own. And like I remember when we first like got the apartment, we didn't even let them come in until we set up their room.
Mm-hmm.
We just wanted to surprise them and for them to like walk in and see that they had their own beds and their toys were in there. It was like it was just like that place was a place for healing.
Oh yeah. And we grew.
Yeah, and I guess we grew in a sense because like even when we moved in there, we hadn't really defined the podcast that much really either. Like
Yeah.
we had an idea of what we wanted to do, but we hadn't the vision wasn't like totally clear. So it was very inconsistent how
Mm.
we was moving with the podcast.
Yeah, because I think that's when we established that we wanted to be our like our word for the podcast or for the the year was like consistency.
But that didn't happen in the first year that we were there. That happened in year two.
Oh,
So,
okay.
because when we first got there, that's when we went to Vermont and we did the first mini series.
Got you.
And it's like so our mini series is like, and that's how our mini series even started. So
Oh,
at the
that's right.
end of
That's
the
right.
yep, so at the end of the year, we do a mini series every year to kind of close out the year, and that's how we the first one started was that trip to Vermont. And I think the name of that podcast was mini series was Do the Work,
Mm-hmm.
and we talked about how you have to communicate, how you have to learn how to fight, how you deal with loss, which was our miscarriages,
Yep.
and so that's how we ended up starting the tradition of the end of year mini series.
Yeah, that's a great series, by the way. If y'all got time, go back and listen to that. That's in the season one.
Hmm.
Um,
Well, it's season one ish because season one was really what we had started at Margaret's. Then we didn't do anything again till we did the miniseries. Then we tried to launch season two after the miniseries, but we just couldn't latch on. Like we had again, I think we were just really deep in the healing process,
yeah.
and we just couldn't get it. And so year two, living in that space is when we decided, okay, if we're gonna do this, like we need to do it for real.
Mm,
And that was like our whole number one goal for that year was just to be consistent.
yeah.
And that's when we got the manager. That's when Brandon came on and started helping us.
Yep.
And we really started like,
Just developing the
yeah,
business.
honing in and focusing.
Yeah. So y'all, it takes a lot in marriage. It takes a lot with your spouse, whether you're building up your marriage or building up a business together. Like, and these are just certain things that we went through. And hopefully whatever we say and we put out that hopefully that you can take that or whatever you get, take something and apply it to your life to just do better and succeed and um fulfill your purpose, with you and with your spouse. Cause that's what we want. We want people to fulfill their destiny, do what they're put on earth to do. Excuse me. Yeah. But as always, y'all, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all.
Yep, we do.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much what year six was. It was really us healing, really trying to like reestablish ourselves, and pick up the pieces and figure out what our next move was.
Hmm. I like that.
So again, it was one of those challenging years. It was a challenging year.
Yeah. So thank y'all for listening. We really appreciate y'all. Continue to support us. Continue to send us your topics, things you want to hear us discuss and podcast about, and we're gonna make it happen.
Yep. So thank you. We'll talk to you next week.
All right. Peace.